Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN. Today, I wanted to talk about Roots of War League and whether or not, so far, people feel like this is having a positive or negative impact and reaction to the game as a whole, to kingdoms, to alliances, and for the player base who are looking to participate and compete in World League. Let me know in the comments below on whether or not you think it is positively or negatively impacting the game, the kingdoms, alliances, maybe the player recruitment pool, and why. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us up. Because that helps a lot. Thanks. So let's start off real quick. And I grabbed some screens here from the COD Discord because I thought that there were some interesting topical points that were brought up that we could talk about. Before we do that, or I guess let's do this first because this kind of segues into one of the first things I want to touch on. So one of these comments here says, okay, so K. Kevin says, I saw a lot of RM player moving around. Okay. Squirt Willie says, probably for Row League. Yeah. Willie says some might come back after Row League and they have the skin. And then we got Abdullah that says, if someone left you for a skin, they aren't coming back. All right, that's aggressive. But I mean, again, how massive is this skin? Okay, well, let's look. So if I go in game and we take a look at rewards, right? The personal rewards are for playoff alliances, right? So you got to place top 4 to get this city theme. That is in the Strife Conference Legendary, which you could argue is the upper or maybe the winner's bracket. And then it's the newcomer conference, right? Which is for all the kingdoms that are not in Season of Strife, right? So if you're in Season 1 through Season 3, you get plus 2% Legion attack, plus 3% train speed. Now, I mean, this looks pretty good to me at face value, but again, I don't go around analyzing all the different city themes. So I would be curious to hear for those of you, how valuable is this, right? Is this creme de la creme? Is this SA tier? Or is it more of, you know what, this is just a nice to have. Now, I'm sure maybe for some people, subjectively, they may feel like this has more value than others, right? Like if you already have a lot of the legendary themes, I would imagine you may not necessarily value this as much if there's another thing that's close in stats to this or maybe better stats. But I'm curious for you out there, if you're someone who's participating, or even if you're someone that isn't participating, but you would if you could, how valuable do you find this city thing? Okay. And then we go to, right, you get some other things. But if we just go to rewards, you can see here, right? The top 4 alliances in the Strife Conference Legendary and Newcomer Conference, right, get this Garden of Eternity. But if you place 5 and beyond, you'll get the Heart, which unlocks a decorative building. You get the Verdant Edge, which says, now, one of the things I wish they did here with the Verdant Edge is I wish the Verdant Edge said where you placed, like where you ended up. Not just giving you this, or better yet, if the border of the Verdant Edge may be customized itself per tier. So as an example, you'd have a custom Verdant Edge for placing first, a custom one for 2, a custom one for 3 through 4, 5 through 8, so on and so forth. That would be really cool. Again, and maybe they will. Maybe there will be something in the middle of it, or well, probably not, because that's where your PFP will go. But I guess it would just be cool if they did something like that, and it wasn't just like some blanket universal thing you got for placing top 32. Again, maybe that's just me. But I feel like maybe that's an opportunity to do that next. And then obviously in Newcomer League, here, or excuse me, in Strife Conference Epic, you place 128 and you get the Lunar Star Life. But if you place top 32, right, then you get the decorative building. Okay. All right. Okay, fair enough. Let's go to some others. So Gary says they need a real row league, ranked up like AM, which I don't know what AM is, unless I'm just having a massive brain fart. This way, every week, your team plays only teams in your bracket. Eventually, you have a season in playoffs. Now, initially, when I read this, I thought, okay, well, maybe he's kind of going in this direction of promotion relegation, where maybe you'd have different tiers of leagues. And if you place in the top, like 2 spots, you have an opportunity to get promoted. Right. And then you would do like some face off with like the bottom 2 teams in the league above you. And then if you beat those teams, right, you make it in to the next league up. That could be something interesting, right? If they did some kind of variation of that. I also think it would just be really cool if they kept row league stats. So, for example, if you're in a kingdom and maybe you have to register an alliance or not, but it would just be cool if they would keep your league record, right? Even if they wanted to do like a yearly record, so like they'd give you your total record to date, but then they would tell you what your record is like per year, or maybe if they did something seasonally, then you could do that as well. But to me, it would be nice if they incorporated some Road League stats on the teams that are participating, right? Now, whether that's stats for regular Road League matches, like so maybe you have like stats for regular Road League, or sorry, for regular row matches, and then you have Row League match stats, right? So you can have like, kind of like casual competitive numbers, if you will, even though, you still might get some good competitive matches in regular row matches. But to me, that kind of seems like a missed opportunity. Maybe Garius is referring to something else here, but like that's how I interpreted it. So again, I'm curious what you guys think on that one. The next screen here, which I thought was just absolutely hilarious, is from Mushroom Killer, who said, "Migration open for those that want to play in the newcomer row league for an easy win skin." Okay, now this is funny to me only because this is probably one of the first times I've seen someone recruiting for row league just to be like, hey, this is like an easy skin win, right? Now, keep in mind, the only people that can move here are people that are in the newcomer conference already, right? So you'd have to be in season 1, 2, or 3, from my understanding, because the way that it has worked is that, again, at the moment, the way that it's worked is that if you're in Season of Strife, you have to wait until a kingdom enters its 3rd season, and then you can migrate there. However, there have been reports that that is not the case anymore, and you can start migrating into kingdoms that enter Season of Strife for their 1st season. I'd have to double check some of that, but I have had some reports of people stating that. So, but again, right, if you're someone who's like Season 3 and Row League's happening and you're not going to enter Season of Strife yet, I guess you could potentially look into going to a younger kingdom. But, to be fair, maybe it might be better for you going to an older kingdom because they're probably stronger. You may not necessarily want to go to a kingdom that's in Season 1. But I just think it's funny that someone's promoting and saying, look, man, just come and join us if you're in the newcomer, right, for an easy win skin. I mean, maybe they could have said a little bit more here, but I guess the point is I wonder if this will become a thing. Like, will this become a marketing tactic for Row League where if, for example, you're trying to get new recruits into like a top kingdom and you say, look, we're going to rotate some players. Like could be a real thing where, let me give an example. Let's say Echo is still wanting to bring in more players, right, at any point. And they have like some really good fighters that are interested in coming, but they only have a couple slots open. But some of these new people that are coming haven't got a Row League skin yet. Would they consider swapping out some of their current Row League players just so they can bring these people in? That obviously can help them with KVK as well. But if they really want to get the skin, would they be willing to, again, to basically substitute or like, swap some people out, or maybe, or basically use the substitution roster as a way, right? Because I believe your substitutes will still get the skin as well, or in this case, the frame. So like, would you use your substitution roster as okay, well, if we need you, you'll need to participate, but if not, kind of using that as like a free coast to getting something, but also gets that person, you know what I mean? Like, I just wonder if that will be a tactic at all. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, you get it. I'm curious what you guys think on that one. So next one here is something from Abda, which again, I actually effortlessly agree with here. Not to say this is like the only matchup I would want to see, but Abda says, honestly, after today, it makes me 20 times more excited to watch Echo versus CIS in Road League finals. I mean, and again, this was from right back, it was from a number of days ago, back when obviously all the drama stuff was dropping. But I mean, again, I don't think that he's wrong, right? I think you could say this is a truthful statement, regardless if this is what ends up happening or not. I think that at the moment, if you're asking yourself what is going to bring in the most amount of viewers or spectators, what is going to generate the most hype, what's going to generate the most views, the most clicks, I would argue at this moment in time, and absolutely, is if Echo and EIS played each other in the Row League finals. I would say at this moment in time, that would be pretty wild, I'll say. So yeah, we'll see. Again, I'm curious what you guys think. Like, do you feel the same way, or would you rather have other people you want to see in the finals? I mean, and I'm not saying like, yeah, they just deserve a free pass to it. Obviously, they have to earn their way. But if it did end up happening, I mean, listen, man, it would be pretty bananas, right? I could tell you right now, if that did happen, dude, I would be reaching out to both teams for interviews. I'd get statements, dude. I would do like a whole thing leading up, right? Just like they're doing like press conferences and whatnot, right? In for like Super Bowls and final matches for sports leagues, like leading up to the battle. Oh, bro, like, it would be so much fun. Okay, so Sawuda says here, man, Row League is such boring BS. I hope they reduce the participating alliances to 128. So when I read this, I thought, okay, well, that is interesting, because would you consider doing something where you have to qualify for it in the future, where maybe based on your record, and then maybe the point differential, right? Like, so maybe they're testing that system in Row League now to maybe use that for regular row matches. And you have to, like, so maybe they'll reset people's, that could be something, they reset people's records, and then you get to start fresh for regular row matches. And then the top 128 teams that have like the best records in each conference, based on their kingdom pool, would qualify. That would be cool. And then if they just had like a global ranking or something like that they showed off, I could see them testing that. Now, that doesn't mean I'm against them doing the top 512 alliances. The challenge here is that they need to do things to improve this, which is one of those things, merging of dead kingdoms, so that way we can get more average, healthy and active kingdoms, and therefore you can have more competitive Row League teams, at least at the middle, and then eventually powering up, hopefully over time, right? Because you need to raise the bottom up while at the same time just kind of limiting, or putting some kind of a soft ceiling on the top. But again, you could also reduce the amount of total teams. It's not to say that's a bad idea by any means, but I do think there are appropriate ways to go about doing that. And like I said, I think it'd be interesting if they did something like that, where you'd have to qualify for Row League, whether that's qualifying at the top 512 or less than that. And I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. The next screen here I got is from Joker, which I thought this was pretty spot on. So someone said we should tell Satoru Row League is here. Maybe he comes back. So I'll say this, man. After my interview with Guns, and also hearing from other people on how great Satoru was at managing and captaining Row League, it almost makes me wonder and think to myself, man, how massive would that be for Satoru to come back and basically run a Row League team, and or just be a pivotal figure in there, right? Given everything we've heard from the Nawar days, right, back in Row League. And so again, I actually agree with this. I think it would be pretty awesome to see. Now, again, I don't necessarily know Satoru's personal situation, kind of what's happening there, on if it's something he may or may not consider. But I can tell you right now, man, this would absolutely be an awesome story. And I think it could generate a lot of buzz too as well. Okay, next screen I want to show off here is going to be from Extreme. I just thought this was funny. It says, hey guys, how do I find the best servers to migrate to? Any tips? Quoka said Home Kingdom. Pat Dog says, move to the one with the highest level blessing chest who will accept you. Jingo says, find a kingdom no matter how strong they are, that you enjoy their company. F this game. Extreme, best way to see their blessing chest. And then our boy Jay Geezy comes in and says, whoa, that logic is not welcome here when people have a Row League skin ticket. It's like, no, stay, don't leave. It's like, stay. That was good. And then I love how Bad Dog says, and again, I think this is TFS's thing at the time. So this was funny because he goes and screens this, and then he points to the Alliance gift level and then tags him. So that was hilarious to me. We got two left here. So PB Killer says the Row League skin seems to have a heavy weight on people. Davis says, or Double D says, most people thought it would give plus 2% attack on activation, but it doesn't. That skin is useless. And like I said, right, the plus 3% attack and then the train speed. Again, I don't know if that's useless or not, right? So again, you guys will have to let me know all your thoughts there. The last one I want to look at here is from Joker. Joker says, to be honest, they did get some great row players, right? This is EAS got voted because they won Echo once. They beat them once. To be honest, they did get some great row players, so it'll be very interesting row. DD says people see Fluffy and Alibaba and they think number 1, 2 players in the game, so they think guaranteed win. That's how people's brain works. Jinxta says everyone is lucky that Road League wasn't introduced a year and a half ago when they first say it was coming. Noir would have won 5 in a row by now. And to be fair, I do tend to somewhat align with that comment. I think that there is some truth there, given everything we've heard about their road team, how strong they were for how long they lasted, and even before them, obviously, right, with TFS. And then we get, just as back then, they were so far ahead of everyone else, had a majority of the top cab mains in the game. Well, what's the difference? Now it's Echo going to win 5 in a row. I mean, again, I don't think that's necessarily wrong either. I think you could argue that Echo probably has an opportunity to repeat, and then how many times possibly could that happen? Right now, that's not to say that I don't think anyone could maybe sneak a win here or there, right? Especially if it's the finals, best of 3, right? Do I think maybe they can get 1 out of 2, maybe more, right? We'll see. But again, I think most people kind of on their boards feel like Echo has the best odds of winning the first season. Then we get, right, I agree with they are good players, right, from Dragon Sister, but Row League with top kingdoms will be tough, nothing guaranteed. And I like that mindset. Joker says definitely with top teams, you will never know who win. Number one can match Echo, top 30 players, not even old Noir. Thank you for believing in us. Yeah, it's all about strat and execution, right, from Dragon Sister there. So, like, I'm really curious, and I can't wait to start like watching some more matches, especially now with qualifiers that are coming up. And we're going to do a big thing for that too as well, because I want to get people's thoughts on that as we start heading in, because again, we're getting closer, right? We got 2 qualifiers here. Division champ's going to be crowned, and then after that, we get right into playoffs. So playoffs are right around the corner. But again, I'd love to know what you guys think, man. Let me know if anything stuck out to you, if you feel attached or not to one or the other. And yeah, that's going to do it for us. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.